All right, and welcome back to a Super Sound Showcase. My name is Tim, and we are sponsored by Culture Fix today. But we have a very, very, very special guest here today, or guest, I should say. We have St. Frank. How's it going, guys?
Good. Very good. Thank you. Good to be here.
All right, so you guys have pretty much been off and on since 1995, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Been a couple of years.
Yeah, a little bit. And there have been comings and goings. So I guess what I really want to know is, where did it start? Where is it? And where is it going?
Okay. It started, like you said, in 95. It was me and a drummer I used to work with named Steve Mendez, who we worked together in a couple other bands before that. And actually, right around the time I started working with these guys. And we didn't really get a whole lot, but then me and Jeff started playing. Steve had family commitments and whatnot that he had to do. And so Jeff and I started playing in 98, 99 maybe. And that's when it actually started kind of taking off. Just the two of us played for a long time, and then we ended up getting other band members in. We had a guy named Larry Smith on bass, a guy named Chris Alexander on guitar, and then we had a floating guitarist named Eric Hess that used to come in and just do like
off the ground.
Yeah, he floated like you used to call him the leprechaun, so maybe I don't know. And we played around quite a bit. We didn't play much in Williamsburg. Played mostly Carolina and down on the south side.
Mm-hmm.
That ended when Chris was in the Navy and he got deployed somewhere else, and it kind of ended there. But about 10 years ago, we did a opening slot for the Moaning Lisas, actually. And then, recently, in the last 3 years, it kind of got the recording bug again. So, I've been writing new stuff and decided to remaster the old stuff we had done on the original St. Frank CD.
On 4-track, right?
Well, some of it was, some of it was. So, actually, some of the new EP was originally done on 4-track.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I do remember editing on 4-track, and I sympathize.
Yeah, it's quite a change.
Mm-hmm. But I may have actually jumped the gun a little bit. Let's go from left to right, and why don't you introduce yourselves?
Okay. Your left or mine?
Dealer's choice.
My name is Rick Coons. I started St. Frank back in 95. Played bass in a lot of bands around the area, and that was my first foray into playing guitar out live. Playing bass today, but most of the time I play guitar in this configuration. So.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Jim Finnegan. I play guitar, and I first met Rick in a band called New Shoes that was in the mid-'80s that had a stellar but short-lived, because we all decided that we as individuals were the reason for the success of the band, and so we imploded after about a year and a half. But then I've worked with Rick off and on in recording situations between now and then, and then the three of us formed again in London about 10 years ago. And Rick Jackson was also in that configuration.
Yeah, so I'm Rick Jackson. I go all the way back to the mid-'80s with Rick and Jim, first in New Shoes, and then now in London. And so throughout all of that, though, we have written original, recorded original. I think Rick has been very successful with his. And so we're very appreciative that you would allow us today to come here and let you hear some of his original stuff. So thank you.
Had a lot of help. I mean, Jimmy's been on everything from the first EP.
Yeah.
I think the first song on the first EP is your lead stuff. So, yeah.
Wow. All right, so it's quite a history.
Yeah.
And I'm Jeff Dinkler. I've started in a bunch of smaller bands before me and Rick got together. Peter Khmer was one we had a little success with Jimmy Zobel. And from there I started playing with Rick, acoustic gigs, and it grew from there. So I've been playing for a long time.
Very cool.
Yeah, that was always fun, the acoustic and conga gigs.
Yeah.
So that kind of brings up another point. So, I mean, when I think about bands of the 80s, and maybe it's just me, but, I think of punk rock. Is that sort of where you guys are coming from, or is it more of a Because I know the Shrieking Sheiks was more of a cyberpunk kind of
Right. That no. Saint Frank is a lot more. I would say there was a classic vein to it, but more post-punk, more the early alternative rock.
a little bit more melodic.
Yeah, a lot more melodic than punk.
It's got a little bit of power pop to it.
Yeah, a little power pop in there. I mean, it's. I always said I kind of wanted to go somewhere in like between Bob Mould and Toad the Wet Sprocket, somewhere in there.
Got
You know what I mean? Stay in the alternative area, but melodic and but with a little power behind it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like Jellyfish, if Jellyfish and REM had a baby. Same Frank.
Yeah.
All right. Well, very cool. So you are working on some EPs or some new album?
Yeah, we got 2 EPs out. First one is called Just Under the Line, and that's all remastered stuff from the original St. Frank CD that Jeff and Jimmy and I did 20 years ago at this point. And then the second album just came out a couple of years ago. It's called A Perfect World, and that's got some new stuff on it and some remastered too. And then I'm working on a new one. I've got enough material for it now, and most of it's recorded. I just don't have it mixed and ready to go yet. But
Yeah.
I hope within the year, to get it out. Maybe within this year, I hope to get it out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I again, more power to you, because 2020 is kind of, it's been a process so far.
Yeah. I mean, the good thing is I don't have, live gigs that I have to worry about. So.
Unfortunately.
Exactly.
Paying live gigs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but where are all of you guys kind of coming from? Because it sounds like, there's a little bit of that REM vibe to it, but, any sort of like folk backgrounds, or, is this sort of a dynamic shift from what you're used to?
My influences were the Beatles, Crosby, Stills, Nash, Eagles. So almost everything I think about writing or playing, you could argue, comes from that. So when I contribute to something, those are what's going on inside of my head, those groups.
Mm-hmm.
Rick and our principal band, London, is very Beatlesque, and it includes Lance, the ubiquitous Lance Pettigo on drums, and a fella named Dave Green, a very talented young guy from Virginia Beach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Writing wise, I come from the 80s alt rock sort of. That's really, I mean, I listened to the 70s stuff, but I'm a little younger than these guys. So.
A lot.
Yeah, a bit. But yeah, so I listened to the 70s stuff, and I'm sure that has an influence, but I didn't really start writing until the 80s, and I didn't really start writing until I heard more of the post-punk type stuff, like Pretenders and Joe Jackson and people like that. And that's who my writing influences are, is more in that vein.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, sort of shifting gears again a little bit. I've been interviewing bands for a little while. Every single band has a tour story or a behind-the-scenes story, and I'd like you to tell us at least one.
Oh.
Okay, let me tell the audition.
You tell the...
Me and Jimmy were in this group called New Shoes, and we needed a bass player, as you often need, musicians. So Jimmy posted something somewhere, and Rick shows up, calls, and we were doing a lot of Beatles then. And so Jimmy says to Rick, look, if you're coming to the audition, Rick has this notion that the bass parts are perfect. They're exactly like McCartney.
Yeah.
So we auditioned him on Something. And if you know Something, that song from Abbey Road, you know how difficult that bass part is.
Yeah.
Well, suffice to say, he nailed it. And the rest is history, the three of us.
Well, now you got to tell the good part of the story, though. I show up for the audition. I mean, I got no money. Well, it's not like I got a lot now, but I mean, I'm a young, dumb kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I show up with this crappy bass wrapped in a blanket because I don't even have a case for it. I mean, fatigues and with the bandana on and everything. And I show up at Jimmy's door, and it's a nice neighborhood and stuff. I'm sure he was like trying to, shuffle me in as
Yeah.
quickly as he could.
Don't let anybody stop.
He went on and did that.
It's burned into my memory. You had camo pants on and you were holding your raw base like this.
Yeah, I had it. Oh, that's right. I had it in a blanket in the car, but I took it out.
But he
before.
nailed
You unsheathed it
Yeah.
like by the time you got to my doorstep.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
by that time, you already had your chops.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
Oh.
Yep. It seems like I would have been a lot younger, but I was older than that.
Well, didn't you study music at Norfolk State?
I did. I
With
went to
some
Norfolk
jazz
State,
guys.
studied music there. I mean, I was in band. Jeff and I both were in high school band, not together. We missed each other by a year, but go Bayside High. But yeah, we both were in band and had both played at very high classical levels, both played in jazz band and all that. So yeah, I had the training and had played for a long time by that point. So
I got to tell you another one. So
Okay.
just a few years ago, the three of us in London, so we're not kids at this point, took 3 jobs in 24 hours. We played at York River Oyster House in Gloucester
Mhm.
Friday evening. Came back here and played a benefit in Williamsburg in the afternoon, and took another job at a club in the evening. We played 3 jobs in 24 hours.
Jeez.
Some of us are still recovering from that.
Yeah.
yeah.
I was on a sailing trip for
St. Frank stories generally all deal with us getting thrown out of clubs. So. We're not getting paid, you know.
Well, one begets the other.
Yeah, exactly. It's odd how that works.
All right, guys. Well, let's take a pause right here. This has been Super Sound Showcase on WMBG AM 740, 93.5 The Berg, and we're sponsored by Culture Fix, but we'll be right back right after this. All right, Williamsburg, and welcome back to Super Sound Showcase. My name is Tim. We are sponsored by Culture Fix today, and we are joined by St. Frank. How's it going, guys?
All right.
All right, so what are you guys going to be playing for us today?
The first tune we're going to play is a song called Same As Before. This was on the original CD that we did forever ago, but I re-released it on the Just Under the Lines EP. And this was one Jimmy... No, actually, I think I did everything on this one, well, except drums. I can't touch that. But yeah, this is called Same As Before.
All right, well, guys, take it away. right, guys, that was awesome.
Thank you.
Well, guys, what's going to be next?
This next one's called Romans. Actually, Tad Timberlake from the Joe's Day Off band, and originally with us, came up with the original riff, and I wrote stuff around that and wrote it for an album we were going to put out, but just never really materialized. So I asked the guys if I could put it out as St. Frank, and they were good with it. Jimmy did the whole bridge part, so
Nice.
a
All right.
little more of a group effort.
Mm-hmm. As well it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. The next EP will be a group effort.
Is that what it's going to be called?
Oh yeah,
Group
hey.
effort.
A group effort.
Hey. All right, guys. Well, take it away.
Okay, go ahead. 1, 2, 3.
Guys, that was awesome.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't even know what to say.
Thanks, man. That's as poppy as it gets for us. So
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I thoroughly enjoyed that, and I know our listeners did too.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one gets a radio player would be nice. See what we can do with that.
Yeah, you may know a guy, you know.
I'm hoping.
All right. Well, thank you so much, guys, for coming in. Again, this has been Super Sound Showcase with St. Frank, and we will be here next week.